Hello, my name is Boniface Nelson, and I lived at the New Life Community Center in Western Kenya for 7 years. It is an orphanage for boys from 3 years old until 18. Our hope in this video is to tell you about the life-changing activities that go on there. Not only in the lives of the NLCC boys through the mission team's help, but also in the lives of those who visit there during those mission trips.
One thing that really made me just light up and think, oh, these boys, there's changes for them. There's a ceiling in their dorm rooms. There is a ceiling in their where they eat. There are lights in the ceilings. There's Wi-Fi there, so they have a TV, which I believe they kind of look at things for maybe classroom things, but then there's Wi-Fi for correspondence and things as well. So that was really nice to see that kind of change.
When we arrived at the orphanage, I saw that there was a second story on the clinic. That wasn't there before. There was brick, there was a structure being formed there. So that was new. There was also, I noticed a sink outside like the dining area. So I'm like, whoa, they got water. So that, and then I saw little cups going up to the faucet, and I'm like, ah. So how exciting for that to happen, because I believe we raised money for that when we went, and that was pretty awesome to see.
Just for them to have running water, I mean, and that's another blessing that's happened through the mission trips in the years. I mean, they've had wells that's finally producing water. The ladies are not having to run or walk down to the hills to get their jugs of water, and that was a huge blessing for them, just to have water and for the kids to be able to wash up and clean up. It's great.
They also, inside the clinic, had a refrigerator, and Sephora showed us that with a big smile on her face. She was happy. She has a refrigerator and a freezer on top, so that was nice to see.
I did say from the get-go, the bigs take care of the littles. And it may have been Ben, or I don't know if he was there from the original time, but 18 years, he knows exactly what's going on. And so I think, I don't want to say training, but the little kids see that. They see the bigs taking care of their littles, and it just falls through. And the love and respect they have for everybody there.
Those boys coming back from high school, the boys are getting ready to go to college, and just seeing that they were once these little boys, and they have grown up through NLCC. They've gotten through high school. They come home on the weekends from high school, and they're there. They are family to those little boys. And they go off to college, and they're still coming back to NLCC, and they are helping out. I saw these high school boys putting the littles in a tub and sudsing them up and getting them a bath for before Saturday night before church. They help do their wash. That is their family. And it's awesome to see that growth. And that's something that NLCC has provided them, is another sense of family. The more memorable experiences also was to see Moses teaching Sunday school. So Moses, I got to know in 2018 when he had malaria, and I was in charge of taking care of him and getting him medication morning and night. He sought me out as soon as I got off the bus. He recognized me and gave me big hugs. And he is 13 now, and he teaches Sunday school to the younger children. And he has the most beautifully worn out Bible I have ever seen a 13-year-old have. So when you look at 13-year-olds' Bibles here in the United States, they're not worn out like that. I'll never forget that Bible. That just made such an impact on me.
Really, I had what I called two God moments, because the last day he was there, he ran out of gloves. And he had size 7.5 gloves. And I said, well, I'll get you some gloves. And so I looked, and all we had in our entire supply was size 7. So he was a little man, and I said, could you wear size 7? He said, no, I can't wear 7s. It has to be 7.5. Like, well. So I remember that in the pharmacy, which was a very small pharmacy, there was a box of gloves. So I thought, well, I'll go check. So I went up, and on that top shelf was a box of size 7.5 gloves. I'm like, yes, God. and then they ran out of instruments because they'd pulled so many teeth. And well, what are we going to do? So he asked for a chemical, which I didn't recognize it by the name that he called it, and we would call it bleach. And I said, well, we didn't bring any of that along. I said, well, I'll go to the pharmacy. And there were 2 white bottles on the bottom shelf. One of them was just exactly what he had asked for. Oh my gosh, another God moment that we could go back and finish extracting the tooth on this man that we were halfway through. And once again, at that moment, I thought, God's here. God's here. He is supplying us what we need to take care of these people.
I think the one night we ran, lights went out, and we had 2 solar lights. Not a lot of light, but enough. So all of a sudden we said, well, let's do the hokey pokey. And the adults get together, and we grab the little kids and hold their hand and kind of walk through the hokey pokey the first time around and put your right hand in. And we put our whole body in and shake it all about and laugh and giggle. And the young ladies from the kitchen were over here. I said, well, come on in, gals, come on in. Laughed and giggled.
I remember to say hi to Mike. Greet him for me. Say my missing thing. And my name of the pharmacy. Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
This is Moses. Moses is 13 and has lived at New Life Community Center for 9.5 years. All 3 boys you will hear about have deceased parents. Moses immediately said when asked, here, meaning at NLCC, I can get everything I need, such as clothes, food, and an education. I could have been a school dropout, but I thank God because He gave me a chance to be part of this orphanage. My favorite part is the friends I meet. I have brothers, other orphans here, and I appreciate that I have met friends from the USA. I would like to thank them very much for their commitments to come. He says the mission people do a good thing, and I tell them to keep coming. I'd like to take the chance to thank them. May the Lord be with them. This is Peter, who is also called Haggai. I have been at NLCC 12 good years, says Peter. You give us our basic needs and the fees for school. He also explained that he too had not been to school before he came to the orphanage. He says he wants to prosper in his education. He realizes that we, Christians, are to help the needy, poor, and the orphan. He wants to become, due to NLCC's help, the solution to that problem. He hopes to see the orphans here become prosperous, to be able to protect their children and grandchildren. All of this is because of the help he and the other orphans have been given. It is his hope to stay on the righteous path. This is Jackson. Jackson is 17 and has been at NLCC 9 years. He is in high school. He too was thankful for the education, which he had not had before the orphanage, for also his food and clothing. He has seen changes over the years at the orphanage and said, "We used to go to find water from the river, but now we have water pumped to us. We don't struggle and have to go to the river anymore." NLCC received water in 2020 and electricity about a year before that. "My favorite part is when different friends come from the USA," said Jackson. "If I wasn't here, I think my life would have been difficult out there. Before I came, I started stealing people's things so that I could get food. I want to thank you for your support."
NLCC is a special place. In fact, some people return. We have one man, Don Bosterman, who just finished his 8th trip. He has been so impressed by the Kenyans that he has taught himself Swahili. Now, no one expects that of anyone else. Don is just unusual. However, going once is a life changer. Consider, is God calling you to go? Of course, every organization needs funds. Giving over the years has caused this orphanage to go from no running water or electricity to Wi-Fi and clean water. Thank you for joining us to hear our story. God bless you all.